one up, and then he's not going to do it, and then I think he says the line like, I've got to go and score some more steroids because of an earlier comment that Killian made to him, and then we get like Killian trying to talk his way out of it. I love it how the amazing thing about Killian is any real bad guy really believes that the key to a good villain is they literally believe in what they're saying, and he's like, come on, Ben, it's all about the ratings. That's what it's about. You know how life is. It's not personal. It's just hilarious how that goes on. But yeah, Richards manages to get him in that cart. What did you make of this ending, Matt? And did you feel it was right? Or because this just feels like a different movie. It feels like Total Recall. Like I'm watching something really different here with all this. But are you like me, Matt? Could they have done more if it was going to be what it was? Could they have done a little bit more with the dialogue and come up with some more classic lines here?
Yeah, I would say they should have, and especially the ending, like for Killian. I don't think it was what I was expecting. He said he was going to go up there and like rip his spine out and all that.
Yeah.
In the end, just sits him in a chair, and he's like, "I'm not 100% this is going to kill you, but I'm pretty sure it will."
Yeah.
It's just pretty much taking that gamble that's sending him down there is going to do that. I was expecting a lot more from that, but it was what it was, and I'm not going to say it was terrible, but I was expecting him to suffer a little bit more.
Yeah, I was waiting for the moment where, like, in a physical contest, there's only one winner, but it would have been funny to see Killian try, just because of that sort of character that he, truly believes in himself. But yeah, he gets put in this cart, and then of course he gets launches him down, and he flies him into his own billboard, isn't it? That cola advert that he kept putting out. And yeah, Richards, that line, well, that hit the spot. I mean, there it was. He knew it was coming. There had to be something like that. And then the crowd starts chanting for Richards inside and out. They're all over this. And then, and all of a sudden, Matt, this music starts playing. I'm like, what the hell's this? Where's this come from? Richards and Amber, they get together, they have this like romantic kiss, and then the song comes on. This is no game, stand in the dark, no pain, no gain. What the hell? Where's this? Like, where have they got this song from to use this? But yeah, they play that and credits roll. An hour and 33 minutes right there on the version I watched. But Matt, summing this up overall. Do you feel like sort of anticlimactic there overall, or is that?
Yeah, I definitely did, especially having that as your last scene. It's like two characters that blatantly did not get on, and in the end, you're supposed to believe they're a couple now. Yeah. How did that come about? What craziness is this?
You know what I missed out of that? Did you notice that he still had his like hands around her neck? I was like, come on, please, where are we going with this? So she likes all that. Now, compared to the book's ending, and Matt, I think you may need to mute at your end because I may give a spoiler here if you're.
Oh no, I know the end to it. I mean, I had that a little bit given away, but it definitely sounds like an ending I'd take over this one, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, saying you take it, I don't know if this film would have... I think this film would have been not listed for a while because of the ending of the book. And, yeah, this is post 9/11, sort of pre 9/11, should I say. But this is... The way it ends is that Richards literally sacrifices himself by flying... flying into the building in New York, by the way, into that sort of huge, wherever the ICS building is, killing everybody in there, and he dies at the end of it. It's kind of completely different to this. Now, I'm not saying the producers knew anything then, of course they didn't, but it's like that ending is totally different. I don't think it would have suited this film's character of Ben Richards whatsoever, I've got to be honest. So I doubt they would have done anything like that, and I also think that the producers, I know that they were actually considering having that ending, but the producers didn't like it. They felt like they had to have a happy ending, and they said, as long as it works in front of some test audiences, we're going to go with this new ending, which is what we got on the final cut. And apparently it went down a storm because everybody was happy that Arnold had got the girl, kissed and this music rolled on, etc., etc. But that would have been a totally different ball game. And like I said, I'm kind of sure with that kind of climactic end, I'm not sure we would have seen that film for a while. You know, I think that would have been off the books for a while after 9/11. But it's a completely different take. I think. I mean, Matt, can you imagine Stephen King sitting down and watching this?
Oh no!
What the?
I mean, he's not one really for like the good guy triumphing all the time.
No.
I mean, sometimes they do, but then a lot of the time you have to be a bit more brutally honest. And the Ben Richards in the book is so far from this Ben Richards. It's unreal. He doesn't have this physique and this ability to change things like that. So sacrificing himself in that kind of way is the only way to sort of even the score, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Matt, do you want to have a guess at the body count in this film?
Oh,
trivia for everybody at home as well, if you want to play along.
I'd say this is it's going to be difficult. I'd say 16.
No, you'd be surprised. 41 is
really?
The body count. Yeah, this is the official body count.
Must have been that ending. I lost track of how many people must have been shot at the end.
I did as well. I thought it was quite high, but apparently so. 41 is the official on that, which is very interesting. But yeah, the just to reiterate, just looking on the book side of things, is that ending, he was going to be part of the flight crew that kills and wipes out everybody. The setting was he didn't have a parachute on him and just literally commit suicide by running into the games building in New York, killing Killian and everybody inside. So that is how the book ends, which is totally different, of course, to what we've done now. The budget for this film, 27 million is the estimated, and the gross back from this was 38. So it wasn't like a complete disaster, this film, but I think that I think against the other film that Arnold had been in earlier in the year, Predator, this didn't really come that close. It wasn't the whole thing. Since then, though, Matt, you'll be interested to know that this film did inspire the American Gladiators in 1989. It's they've given that one since then. That was their call. And of course, this release date was the 23rd of September 1988. This came out on, and it's one of those films. I think it's one of those films that not everyone would have seen because it's not always out there. It's not. I think it's shown on TV in the UK a few times, like here and there on terrestrial TV. But I give this a recommend. I think it's like one of those films that you've got to watch it just for entertainment value. I think if there's anything that good comes out of this, Killian is really funny to watch. I think if you enjoy an Arnie film, you'll love it anyway. But the satire, it's good, but it's almost as good as RoboCop. But it's just like it's like a B level. It's trying to be that clever, but it's not. It doesn't quite hit the mark that Verhoeven. And I know that. Verhoeven, the director of RoboCop and Total Recall, he was at one time, he was literally going to be the director on this film, but they didn't want to wait for him. I feel if they would have waited for him to come over, we may have had something really special on our hands here, because I think he would have done all kinds of crazy stuff with this film. But I think the satire's there. I do think it's one of those films that people look at, with those silly commercials and stuff, but it's more the game show aspect. But I think with Verhoeven, he would have probably done it a little bit more cleverer than what we've got in the other films. Matt, do you recommend this film at the end of this? Is this a recommendation for you for anybody, that hasn't seen this film and has been listening to us maybe and wants to check it out?
Oh, it's 100% like worth a watch. I mean, especially if you're an Arnie fan, you can't leave this off the list. Mm-hmm. It's got it all in the sense of if you like what he offers, then he's got all his catchphrases and all his trademark action sequences. I mean, I was just now thinking, like, when you said they considered doing that original ending in this film, do you reckon that's why we got such a bad introduction to Arnie? Do you reckon they said we have this helicopter prop? We have to use it now because we ordered it and we paid for it. We have to get some use out of this film. Maybe that's how that came about.
Yeah, possibly, yes. Yes, you might actually be absolutely correct there. Yeah, I feel like that. I feel like this film. I mean, it's an hour and 33 minutes. It's not like a long film to watch. Although there's a lot of setting up in this, it's not that long. Like when the action hits, it's going to hit you, and you're literally there for the ride. So I feel like the first half is quite a lot of setting up, but the second half is just pure action. It's pure violence going on, and you're going to get your money's worth there. Even though there's some endings to the fights that are not as good as the others, I do feel like you get the right. You get enough in it, I think, if that's what you're into. I think storyline wise, I do think this is creative, but I think that the narrative of it could have been better. I just think that, like I said at the beginning, I think they missed the chance they've really missed for me is like trying to show you just how much control this organisation has. I don't think they do a very good job at it. I think still watching it now, I feel like, yeah, they might just have a small section of people, but I can't believe the whole world is just hooked on this program, and that's it. And we're going to go through what ICS tell us to do all the time and report our family if they're out after 12 o'clock, stuff like this. I cannot believe that for the life of me. Matt, where do you give it as far as storyline goes in all this? And especially after, getting set into the book, I'm guessing there's no comparison into the storyline, which one's better there. But in the storyline context of this film, Matt, where does this rank for you?
Well, yeah, it's difficult. I mean, before I started the book, I had a different opinion of the film. I thought the film was really good, but then you see just like what it could have been, and it's a little bit disappointing. But I have to rate the film standing alone. I think it's a decent film. I'm not going to say it's amazing. It's by far not one of Arnie's like greatest works, but it's still good enough to stand on its own. And it does kind of like make me wonder, like in these kind of things, like looking at this film and that does it like give other people ideas when you think about like other films and books that would be released in the future, like The Hunger Games is a very sort of similar kind of vibe to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I think a lot of films are taking things from us, and also that collar thing you mentioned before, Matt. This film started that. I don't know who else nicked it, but this film started it. I looked that up, surprisingly, because I thought they'd nicked it from somebody else. But yeah, this comes from this film. So they did come up with some innovative things. I just think the consistency of it was not as bold as it needed to be. But nonetheless, I think this will always go down as an Arnold Schwarzenegger film, never a Stephen King. Without a doubt, this is an Arnold film. It's funny now because when you see the book now, Matt, there's some prints where they have Arnold's face on it and Stephen King written at the top. That's how they publish it today. They publish it with Stephen King's name on it. As far as the film goes, they can now license to have Stephen King written on it, but they kind of still choose to have Arnold, which is probably wise because I don't think this is your typical Stephen King film at all. This is not one of those ones where they've taken it literally from the book, not like a Green Mile or Shawshank Redemption type thing. This is completely standalone Arnold Schwarzenegger level of violence. I feel the same as you, Matt. I think if it had been someone else playing Ben Richards, possibly we would have got a more grounded Ben Richards. But in this, Arnold is all action at this point. This is what he is in the 80s, and that's what they brought him in for. He's the action guy, so you had to have that in there. There was sort of no escape almost on that one. So we're going to sum this one up, folks. I want to thank everybody for listening to this one, and if you've enjoyed this, hopefully you'll enjoy the next few retrospectives we're going to be doing, which is we're going to be doing some Paul Verhoeven films. We're going to be covering RoboCop, and then his second film in America, which was Total Recall, and two films with really good satire in it, the stuff we like. I think this is like scraping the surface of good satire, but in those two films, Matt, we are literally going to go into places that is just hilariously funny and witty and really out there and very creative stuff. So I'm really looking forward to getting onto those ones, and encourage you to check us out. We're going to be covering those very soon. So hit the subscribe button in All In. Check out our Facebook page and stay along with us for the ride. Matt, thank you for covering this retrospective of the Running Man. It's been good. I've enjoyed covering it. I've enjoyed going back on this film, studying it, things I didn't know about.